الحمد لله الحمد لله خالق الوجود من العدم وجاعل النور من الظلم ومخرج الصبر من الألم فملك التوبة على الندم فنشكره على المصائب كما نشكره على النعم ونصلي على رسوله الأكرم ذي الشرف الأشم والنور الأتم والكتاب المحكم وكمال النبيين والخاتم سيد ولد آدم الذي بشر به عيسى بن مريم ودعا لبعثته إبراهيم عليه السلام حين كان يرفع قواعد بيت الله المحرم فصلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أتباعه خير الأمم الذين بارك الله بهم كافة الناس العرب منهم والعجم فالحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح للأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك فعليه أفضل الصلوات وأتم التسليم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال جل وعلا في كتابه العزيز وفرقانه الحميد بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا لا نضيع أجر من أحسن عملا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Often in life what happens is many a times we do good actions or we do certain things for certain individuals and we're not rewarded for those actions. So it could be for your spouse, it could be for your child, it could be for your parents, and they do not acknowledge the action that you perform from them, and your action goes unrewarded. But when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal, there is no action that goes unrewarded in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. Hakim bin Hizam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was a very generous individual prior to accepting Islam. So he comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he said, "O the Messenger of Allah, prior to accepting Islam, I was a very generous individual. I freed many slaves and I used to give to people. Would I be rewarded for the good that I'd done prior to Islam?" And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam responded back by saying, "Aslamta ala ma aslafta min khair." It was because of the good that you done prior to your conversion that Allah Azza wa Jal blessed you with the entry to Islam. The uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abu Lahab, and as we know Allah Azza wa Jal dedicates the entire surah Tabbat yada Abi Lahab by cursing his uncle. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born, he had a slave girl by the name of Thuwayba. And she came to him and gave him the glad tidings and the good news that your late brother Abdullah had a son by the name of Muhammad. And this was one of the tradition of the Arabs, out of gratitude and showing his gratitude to the person who came to deliver the message, he freed that slave girl by the name of Thuwayba. And time went on, and the paragon of Allah's creation at the age of 40 received his nubuwwah, and he became the prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of the time. And he started to give, da'wah to Islam. And that same uncle who freed a slave girl out of hearing the good news of his birth became a foe and who was against Islam. And later on, after he passed away, his brother Abbas radiyallahu anhu saw him in a dream and he said, "How is your condition and how is your state?" Because of course you went against your nephew Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you were against him and you were foe and you did everything that you could to prevent Islam from being spread. How is your current condition at the moment? And he responded back by saying that my state is very devastating. I am in Jahannam. I am being tortured in the hellfire. But there's one thing I'd like to share with you. And he said that on that day of Monday, when I freed that girl by the name of Thuwayba, out of the good news and the congratulations that I received from her, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, I received some drops of water, which is a means of ease for me. Which is a means of ease for me. That good action that he did not go unrewarded by Allah Azza wa Jal. The message here is continue doing good. Whatever you can do for the sake of Allah, don't stop doing it. It may be the smallest action. It may be smiling towards someone. It might be giving someone a glass of water, but don't stop doing the good action. The story comes in the Quran. At the time of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, there was a murder that took place. And they came to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and they said, "Oh Moses, there's a murder that took place and we want to find out who perpetrated the murder. We want to find out who perpetrated this crime." So Musa alayhi salatu wasalam had a conversation with Allah, and Allah Azza wa Jal ordered them to slaughter a specific calf, a specific cow, and to take a portion of that meat and to strike it on that dead person, and he will come back alive. He will inform them that who perpetrated the crime and who killed him. And this is not a thumbsuck, this comes in Surah Al-Baqarah. قالوا دع لنا ربك يبين لنا ما هي قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا فارض ولا بكر عوان بين ذلك فافعلوا ما تؤمرون. And the specific details were given. So they now started the search of looking for this specific animal. And they said it must be completely yellow. It might be very striking to the eyes. تَصُرُّ النَّاظِرِينَ. It may be very striking to the eyes. It must be young. Now they were finding certain cows that were yellow, but it was old. It must not have any defect on the body. And it's not like nowadays you search something online, and you're like this specific and you go into the details. They started to look from town to town. They went from village to village looking for this specific calf and this specific cow that must be fitted to all the details that was prescribed by Allah. قَالُوا الْآنَ جِئْتَ بِالْحَقِّ فَذَبَحُوهَا وَمَا كَادُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. Under this verse, فَذَبَحُوهَا وَمَا كَادُوا يَفْعَلُونَ, they finally came to a remote village where they found this specific cow that the descriptions were given by Allah. And the owner of this cow was a poor man living below poverty level, not even having any money. Every day that whatever sales he would make, whatever milk that he would sell from that calf, he would eat with himself and he would feed his small little family. Now they came to him and they said, قَالُوا الْآنَ جِئْتَ بِالْحَقِّ فَذَبَحُوهَا وَمَا كَادُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. This is exactly what we're looking for, man. We're going to take it from you. And he's like, no, not me, someone else, please. Why me? Just look for something else. You can't take this away. This is my only means of sustenance, brother. Please, I don't have anything else. No, they said, please, come on. We need it. We're in a devastating situation. Sometimes in life what happens, desperation makes you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. May Allah protect us. But I met this one brother during Hajj where his son was diagnosed with a disease and he had to go from country to country. Sometimes you have only one doctor or two doctors in the entire country that can perform the surgery, and they're going to charge you $500,000 or $600,000. Desperation will make you do anything. So they said, whatever money, whatever amount you ask for this calf or this cow, we will give it to you. So he said, okay, whatever is the weight of this cow equivalent into gold, I want that amount. And they gave it to this man. And under this tafsir, the scholars mention that what was this action that this man used to do, that overnight he went from poverty to being an extremely wealthy person. They looked back into his life and they saw that this person was diligent to his parents. This person was respectful to his parents, and because of that, Allah Azza wa Jal made him go from below poverty level. Overnight he became a wealthy rich man. The story comes in Riyadus Salihin, where those three individuals who were stuck at the cave, and through the medium of a good action, Allah Azza wa Jal removed the boulder from the mouth of the cave and they rescued themselves. From amongst the first one, he said that he had a person who used to work for him, and he used to work for him and he owed him some money and he left. And what he did was, on his behalf, he invested that money. Years later, this person came back and he said, you owed me some money. It was $100 or $200 for the labor for the day. Please give me that money. And he said, whatever you're looking towards that side, min al-baqar wal-ghanam. Often what happens, if I'm investing on behalf of you and I see the growth, then I'm saying, I want to take some percentage, some fee, right? Management fee. I want to take 10% or 2% management fee. And it grew. He said, all that you're looking, min al-baqar wal-ghanam, from the sheep and the goat belongs to you. He said, no, la tastahzi bi. Don't mock me now. Just give me my fair share. I'm here for my $100 and $200. Don't mock me. He responded back by saying, no, what I did was whatever money I owed you, I invested on your behalf, and that belongs to you. A portion of the boulder moved, but that was not enough. The second person made that plea to Allah, that, oh Allah, I had a cousin, I was infatuated by her, I loved her. And I used to reach out to her, to have access to her, to have a relationship with her, a haram relationship with her. And she denied me, and she rejected me multiple times. And there was a situation that she needed my financial help, and I helped her, and I said that I will help you only if you give me access to your body. And she said, okay. And that moment came where I was on top of her. And then, like in our lingo we say, it was that moment where the mouse had to only go inside the hole. And she said, don't unflower me like that. Don't take my virginity away. Don't take my chastity away in that way. And I removed myself at that critical moment. Oh Allah, I did that for you. And another portion of the boulder removed, but that was not sufficient. And the third person made that plea to Allah, that, oh Allah, I used to serve my parents diligently, but one day I came back home after a very long day. And I was about to serve them milk, but they fell asleep. And what I did was I convinced my wife, and this comes in Riyadus Salihin, you can read this incident yourself in English as well. And I convinced my wife to just make the children go to sleep. And that entire night I waited there for my parents. And they woke up and I fed them and I provided sustenance for them. Oh Allah, due to the medium of this good action, release us. And the entire boulder removed. And then they exited the cave. And it was the medium of good action, sincerity to Allah, that they did, that Allah rewarded them and rescued them. The Roman emperor once wrote a letter to Herakl. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote a letter to the Roman emperor Herakl. And Herakl said, أَيُّكُمْ أَقْرَبُ نَسَبًا بِهَذَا الرَّجُلِ الَّذِي يَزْعُمُ أَنَّهُ نَبِيٌّ. Who from amongst you knows this man, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who claims to be the prophet of the time? And Abu Sufyan, who was against Islam at that moment, and he said, I was at loggerheads against Islam. I passionately hated that man, but I summoned myself and I said, I know him very well. I know Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam very well. So he said, "Udnuhu minni qarribu ashabahu." Bring this man Abu Sufyan forward and line up all of his subjects and his people behind him. He said, "Inni sa'ilun hadha an hadha ar-rajul." I will ask this man Abu Sufyan regarding Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he utters a lie, all of you from behind him must deny him and belie him. Read the hadith of Bukhari. Abu Sufyan said, "Wallahi lawla al-haya min an ya'thuru alayya kadhiban lakadhibtu anhu." I was tempted to speak a lie, but either I speak a lie and content to be called a liar and have that stigma of being called a liar for the rest of my life, or I speak the truth as much as I despise Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. كيف نصبه فيكم? Tell me about his lineage. هو فينا ذو نصب. He's a man of great lineage. Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim bin Abd Manaf bin Qusay bin Kilab bin Murra bin Ka'b bin Lu'ay bin Ghalib bin Fahr bin Malik bin Nadab bin Kinana bin Khuzaymah bin Mudrika bin Ilyas bin Mudar bin Nazar bin Ma'ad bin Adnan. هل كان من آبائه من ملك? Was there a king in his ancestry? لا. أشراف الناس اتبعوه أم ضعفاؤهم? Who make up his followers, the poor or the elite? The poor. يزيدون أم ينقصون? Are the numbers increasing or are they decreasing? They're increasing. هل كنتم تتهمونه بالكذب قبل أن يقول ما قال? Did the man ever lie prior to the claim of his prophethood? لا. هل يغدر? Does he deceive? And that's when Abu Sufyan said, I was tempted. I was playing with my words. They talk of semantics, they talk of linguistics. So the truth was, he doesn't lie, but I just wanted to add a little bit of my own flavor. So he said he hasn't lied yet, but who knows what the future holds. And years later, when Abu Sufyan accepted Islam, it was said that it was because of his honesty and the good deed that he performed that Allah accepted him into the entry of Islam. The message here, my brother, is continue doing the good. Don't stop doing the good. It may be 2 rak'ah. It may be giving someone something. It may be smiling towards someone. But continue that good action, because you don't know on the day of judgment which action will save you and be the means of your salvation in the hereafter. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us the ability to continue doing hasanat and good deeds. And as the promise of Allah remains, إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ عَمَلًا. For the believer, none of the good deeds will go unrewarded. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us the ability to continue doing good deed and hasanat. وَصَلِّ اللَّهُمَّ وَبَارِكَ عَلَى سَيِّدِنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَعَلَى آلِهِ وَصَحْبِهِ أَجْمَعِينَ. ألا إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك، وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات، وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته. قال النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم: أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر، وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر، وأصدقهم حياء عثمان، وأقضاهم علي، وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة رضي الله تعالى عنها وعنهم. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين، ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق، وأعمالنا من الرياء، وألسنتنا من الكذب. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق، وأعمالنا من الرياء، وألسنتنا من الكذب. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك، والعمل الذي يبلغنا حبك. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.